joining me on FernCrafts. I'm Christine, and if you're new to my channel, I welcome you. Today, I wasn't really planning to do this video, but then I thought maybe it's a good opportunity to show you guys, because I haven't seen this orchid on YouTube as yet, and if any of you do have it, then yeah, please do share with me what your care is with these orchids. So this was actually all one plant, one orchid, and it was part of a haul that I went to. It was a member who passed away from our Orchid Society, and all of these orchids I picked up from there, and this was one of them. So it was all in one pot, and all I had was half a label, if some of you remember me showing that. So I wasn't sure what this orchid was, but then as helpful as you guys are, some of you actually mentioned that it could be the jewel box orchid, and now I recognize the last of this name here, which is very hard for me to pronounce, but I'll put it up on the screen. And I'm super excited because it is a beautiful, beautiful flower. And it has received over 16, I read at one point, it could have gone up from there, but over 16 awards from the American Orchid Society. So super excited that I now own that orchid, and I do want to save it. When I brought it home, I didn't know what to do with it because it was like literally out of the pot. So I just, broke it off at one point, which seemed sensible, and stuck it into 2 pots. And now, this morning, this just kind of broke off from this spot here. So it wasn't very sensible. And the other thing I noticed is the pseudobulbs are really starting to shrivel up, because I also missed a watering last week. So these pseudobulbs are in desperate need of some water. And there is one new, actually several growth points, but let me see if I can find it. Okay, so here there is one new root, and that is definitely a root. So I know I can save this orchid, and I really do want to, because here is a yellowing leaf. I'm not sure what's happening with that, but I know I need to get them out of these pots and into a more, at least maybe put the roots in there, because it needs a little bit more hydration and moisture, and it's really hard for me to give that or be watering the orchid every other day, or I'm not sure how to do this. So if any of you have this cattleya, it's actually a whole bunch of things together, and it's a very very prominent or very famous hybrid. It's an older hybrid, and it has I'm gonna botch it up. I'll put it on the screen there, but it's got Laelia, Cattleya, and this other thing that I can't pronounce, but I will put it on the screen. Anyway, so what I'm going to basically do is take them out of these pots, get rid of all of that media, and start fresh. Okay, so let's get to it. Okay, so I've taken them out of the pot, and as you can see, this piece here, they're back bulbs, and mostly dead roots. So I'm going to be cleaning up all of that and try to grow it from the back bulb. So that's one of those experiments, that I usually do. So let's see if I can get it to grow. I will definitely update you guys on that. But these are, these 2 pieces here are both very, they've got good roots on them. Yes, so this one here does have some new roots as well, but these are all very dried roots on the bottom, and this piece of the rhizome doesn't have anything on it, so I'm going to cut it back. So this is just something which is characteristic of this orchid, is that it grows on a horizontal rhizome. So it's always growing horizontally with these single pseudobulbs with one leaf on it. Now, because all of the pseudobulbs are looking shriveled, I don't think they will plump up completely again, but they are dehydrated. So what I'm going to do is get rid of the dead part of the rhizome from this side. It's kind of hard to see with all those roots, but there, that portion of the rhizome has nothing on it. So I will cut it off right there. Dust a little bit of cinnamon on it, very important, because any open wounds, you don't want to have it into the media and then introduce any kind of infection to that area. You could also do what I've learned from the past, is that you could just let it sit without any media around it for a few days before you pot it up, and that'll work also. I've done that. Actually, I learned that by forgetting to pot an orchid, but it worked out in my favor, which was good. Now, but I won't be doing that with this one because it is in need of water, and I'm going to first clean up the roots, give it a good wash, and it'll get some of its water then, and then we will pot it up in medium. So as far as medium, I have here on the side a medium mix that I have recently purchased, and it's supposed to be good in the sense that it has a whole bunch of things in it. And my only concern, now this is what I'm going to have to try and, you know, just kind of find out what happens, is that it has a whole bunch of things in it. It's got clay pellets, it's got charcoal, it's got some shells of different dried fruit and nut kind of things. It's got sphagnum moss, it's got coconut coir. So there's a whole bunch of things, including the bark. And it's supposed to be good for almost all orchids, except ones that need the larger wood chips or wood bark chips. And I'm not sure if this one needs it, but I'm going to try it anyway. So this is the orchid mix that it was in, actually. Well, it's not the same mix, but it's the same kind of mix. And I do want to continue using that just because I think I saw, you know, it is growing, so it didn't hate the mix, but most of the roots were not in the mix to begin with, so it wasn't fair to toss out the mix, right? Okay, so yes, let me go ahead, clean up the roots, give it a good wash, and I will come back. Okay, so I've given them a good wash and trimmed off all the roots first and the dead roots, and given them a good wash. Okay, so there, I've trimmed them off, and I just want to add that it's not the end of the world if you miss a few of them, okay? So just look through it as carefully as you can, take off as many as you can, but it really isn't the end of the world. The reason why we do trim off dead roots is just because it won't rot. As it's breaking down and it's all already died, it's not really pulling in moisture or doing anything, so basically it's just rotting away. And that's in the media that the rest of the plant is in. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is, I've selected some pots here. I have here two smaller ones in which I kind of fit them in to see if it'll work, and it does. This is for that one, that's a back bulb set and another back bulb set. This is a little larger pot, but these back bulbs are larger, and I don't have another small clay pot, so I'm going to be using that. These ones are the clay pots that they were in. I've given them a good wash in spite of the way it looks here. It is nice and clean. And these ones, my husband put holes for me on the bottom. They just came with the one hole in the center, and he's put a little more for drainage, and same here as well. I'm just going to add in a few stones on the bottom. This is just gravel from the garden, actually. I had a few spot with a whole pile of them that I just brought in and kept aside whenever I need to do a repotting and just throw some in. Okay, and this also adds a little weight to the pot. This orchid is not so top heavy, so I don't have to worry, but it's just good drainage in this pot right now. That's what its function is. Alright, and then the next thing I did is select which pot each of them go into. Now, let me show you some of the growing tips, and you got to be careful with those. If you see right there, let me put it down and point to it. Okay, this one has it right there, so I want to make sure it's kind of hidden, but you can see it. It's right there. There's a root tip, as well as on the other side somewhere. I saw another one. Here we go. Right there. Okay, whoops, there. So I want to make sure that it is very, carefully placed into the pot and snuck down. Now the other thing I was thinking of was, closer. These are the back bulbs. They've done their thing, and now the whole purpose of them still being attached to the plant is really just to provide it with energy. And so it's not going to grow out this way, at least I don't think it will. It looks like the direction of growth is towards that way, and it is a horizontal rhizome on which this orchid grows. So I'm going to place it like this in the pot, and you're kind of getting the top view here, but you can understand what's happening there, right? So I'm going to place it this way, and I don't even mind that the back bulb is sticking out, but I want to make sure that all of these roots are sticking inside the pot, because that's what my concern and the whole purpose of this repot was, to have the roots into the pot. So I'm going to just show you what I'm doing there, and then of course, place some medium on the bottom and then start backfilling them in the pot there. Okay, so that's what I'm doing with that one. With this one, here is my orchid, and it has two directions in which it's growing. They're growing on both sides. I can't find the roots right now, but I did see tiny root tips on both sides of the plant. So I'm just going to place it as curved into the pot as possible, like so, and then let it go around and keep it in the pot there. That was my idea. Okay, so I know there's a lot of space in here, and ideally, actually, I would have liked, I think, because the roots are long, but because the rhizome is horizontal, maybe a shallow round pot, but well, I don't have one, so this is what I'll have to do. Anyway, let me go ahead and backfill them with the media in, and I will get back to you. So there you have it. These are the two sets of back bulbs. This one I've just braced down with some wire just to keep it stable. This one I opted to go for sphagnum moss, and it's loosely packed. It's not tightly packed in there, so it's just loosely packed, just to add some moisture to see if that works better, because these bulbs are smaller and more shriveled up in many ways. Like, it just doesn't look that good. Now here are my orchids potted up, and I'm going to try out this media. Like I said, I don't think there was anything wrong with the media itself. It's just most of the roots were outside, and I wasn't able to get enough moisture to them that way. So now I'm trying to have them in the pot and see if that works better, and I will keep you updated on these. The last thing that I do need to do, or which I will go ahead and make more of these labels now, is to place your label in the pot. Don't forget, that's very important. And I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you haven't done so already, do subscribe. You'll be the first to know when I upload a video. And if you haven't done so already, do check us out on Facebook. We have a group there. It's FernCrafts, Love of Orchids. Post your comments, your pictures, and you know, any suggestions on how you grow your orchids, and you know, just a fun place to meet others that love orchids as well. So thanks again for watching, and until next time, as always, enjoy your orchids. Bye bye.